What is a dead giveaway that someone finds you attractive? Story 1. I love all potato dishes. So apparently I get a very elated and longing look when there's potato dishes at a meal. My so and I met through mutual friends and shared many group meals together. He realized I liked him when I started looking at him the same way I looked at the potato dishes on the table. Story 2. It depends on the person. I'm quite bad at this. I think my crushes think I don't like them anymore, because I will stop making eye contact, say very little and be more forced, because I no longer know how to act like a human being. I think strangely that I have more charisma and flirt better when I am just friends with someone. Story 3. I'm going through these comments trying to remember if any of this has happened to me. If it did, I was totally oblivious. LMAO, I can't read people very well. Story 4. Noticing and remembering details about you, what you did or said. Edit. I should probably correct the previous statement with the clarification that I was referring to noticing and remembering details much more about you than anyone else. Of course, there are a lot of people who just pay attention and remember things about everybody. Story 5. Hey Race, my LPT. I heard somewhere that if a girl likes you, she'll laugh at your jokes even if they aren't funny, so I just make sure to tell bad jokes all the time and focus on whoever seems to think I'm hilarious. I know this works because years later, when they're my girlfriend, you'll tell the same joke and they won't laugh and tell me I'm not funny. Story 6. They say, hey, I really like you and find you attractive. Let's date and or do the sexy times immediately, unless you're male, in which case, she's probably just being nice. Don't overthink it. Story 7. The best way to know is when they tell a joke or a story, they're gonna look to the person they're trying to impress or get a laugh from after. Besides that, they'll literally compliment you about anything, especially if it's a reason they can make physical contact. If physical contact is unprompted more than once, they're definitely hitting on you. Story 8. I just want to add in here that I'm a therapist, and many of these behaviors are good listening skills that some of us can't turn off. So it isn't necessarily a sign that I find you attractive if I'm making good eye contact, laughing, remembering what you said, even playing with my hair or touching your arm. The only surefire way to know if someone finds you attractive is to ask them if they'd like to do something one-on-one, soon. If they have reasons they can't or reasons it can't be for a while, or their face falls or they want to include other people, they do not want you the way you want them to. Story 9. On a separate note, shout out to the neurodivergent women who often men in because our masking skills make us seem like we're flirting all the time. We're not flirting, we're trying to be normal, so that intense eye contact and smiling is because we're trying our hardest for you to not sense our weird. Story 10. I find this harder to understand being lesbian, because girls are touchy anyway, and I just can't tell the difference between them being nice and them flirting. Story 11. When they randomly show up where you are, laugh a little too hard at your bad jokes, or suddenly become very interested in your extremely niche hobby. Oh, you collect vintage staplers, wow, what a coincidence, me too. Story 12. This is kind of a mean way to phrase it, but as a woman, men get this really dopey look on their face if they want to sleep with me, even if it's not outright or just a casual chat. There is this one look men have. Story 13. If they find you attractive, being consistently drawn to you, laughing at your jokes, sitting next to you, eye contact, etc. If they have feelings for you, hot and cold behavior, acting indifferent, borderline rude one time, the next time being all over you, then receding back again. Story 14. When a woman starts seeking innocent physical contact, it's usually about time to remember my marital vows and retreat to my hotel room alone, mind you. Story 15. Well, when I went on my first date with my partner, I could already tell he was completely smitten by planning our second date during the first date, and him asking for a third hug on our way out. He said he desperately wanted to kiss me, but he was afraid of scaring me off. I was very reserved, so he could only ask for an extra third hug. It was not hard to see how enamored he was. Story 16. I hate this game. It isn't second grade. Why does it feel like second grade and we are elementary schoolers who can't use words to express how they really feel? Story 17. You have to look at subtle clues in her body language, like the position of her ankles. If they are resting on your shoulders, chances are that she finds you attractive. Story 18. They gracefully overlook my numerous and glaring shortcomings, aiding me as I fumble and up my way to a life that is, frankly, way better than I deserve. From the bottom of my heart, thanks to all you horny police women and HR ladies who overlooked my degeneracy and kept me employed because we have compatible pheromones or whatever, and I turned on the charm for 5 minutes. Keep them wheels spinnin' and those beavers grinnin'. Story 19. Going out of their way to talk or joke with you, they will change their tone when speaking to you. It's almost a customer service voice but not as monotone. Story 20. Maybe not always attractive, but important. If there is a joke said that gets a laugh from the group, look at them and see who they are looking at. If it's you, they care most about your opinion of those in the group, which probably means there is something there. It's a subconscious thing, so it basically is you, or in this case them, checking in to make sure it's okay to laugh. Since it's subconscious, it can be overridden, like if you are trying to figure out if the person in the group likes you or not. There are a few other signs psychology talks about as indicators. Things like, are their feet pointing at you, are they mirroring your actions, etc. But this one seems to be pretty much dead on every time. If you monitor in yourself, it might adjust your perception because you end up looking at the person you think you should be looking at, but it can even be revealing about yourself if you realize it as it's happening. Story 21. When you're talking rambling and they just sit there and listen to you. When me and my boyfriend met and went on our first date, I kept catching myself rambling about things I liked and he just sat there with a smile and listened to me. We now live together, and I've never loved someone as much as I love him. Story 22. This sounds so stupid, but when I'm talking to a girl, if I scratch my nose or something and she automatically subconsciously does the same thing, I figure I have her under my spell. Story 23. They tell you you're attractive is the most dead giveaway. A lot of the indirect things depend on the person and can be misinterpreted. I don't like touching anyone, even if I was romantically interested. I also compliment everyone and will be actively engaged if anyone is sharing something about themselves in conversation with me. I've been mistaken as sending signals I am definitely not meaning to send, and I don't see how these things are even romantic. I'd rather normalize just treating everyone like they are worth your time and engagement regardless of if you think they're active. Story 24. They do stuff with their hair like the women do in the hair color commercials. One technique is the scalp scratch, then a wild release. This could also mean they're not rinsing out conditioner completely, and twirling their hair despite it being already curled by the instyler. Story 25. They play with their hair while talking to you. Also, when you are in same room they laugh and give impression of having good time with someone they're with. Story 26. For me, whenever someone was showing me something on paper or looking down, and we were close together, I'd always look at their side profile, just look at all the details in their hair, eyebrows, eyes, etc. Story 27. They find excuses to be around you, to talk to you. They try to get your attention using things that they've noticed you're into, but will pretend it was casual so they don't come off too strong, try to impress you. Story 28. Constantly looking over, making eye contact longer than necessary, finding excuses to help or jumping at any chance to do something for you. This is how men act around me when they find me attractive. It's very obvious when a man isn't attracted to you. He'll either not help you even if you are hanging off a cliff, okay, hyperbole, but not by much, or he'll do the bare minimum required by his job. He will avoid eye contact and be terse as his replies because what women consider being a polite, agreeable, friendly person, men see as flirting. Story 29. The attention. No matter if you're in a big group, he will find a chance to initiate a conversation with you, plus, any of your requests. As long as he can do it, you don't have to ask again, he will do it. Story 30. I don't know if it is a dead giveaway, but for me I can always tell when someone is looking at my face and their eyes are really focusing on my various facial features. When you don't find someone attractive, you might look them in the eye or just generally look at their face. When there's attraction, they tend to focus on your mouth or center of your face instead of just the eyes or general face without a lot of focus. Think about the difference between someone reading a book and just looking at the page. Story 31. In a group of people, they throw you a quick glance every time after making a joke to see how you react. They always make time for you. They're very attentive when talking to you. Story 32. If when standing in a group their feet always point towards you, or if sitting in a group their torso shoulders always point towards you, and if knees touch and neither flinches away quickly, it's on. Story 33. The facial expressions they make when they look at me and their mannerisms, body language, things they say that give me hints and clues. It's so precious, it's heartwarming. Story 34. I'm hopeless at this, but a giveaway was one bloke mysteriously offering to teach me and 10 of my friends poker when I offhandedly mentioned that didn't know how to okay. Story 35. Honestly, the most reliable way to tell is to meet someone, fall in love, get married, get into a tragic skiing accident, and fall into a coma. If they clone your body to find comfort in a simulacrum of your embrace, despite the fact that the clone will have the brain of a sheep, then there's a good chance that your partner finds you attractive. Story 36. I can list the dead giveaways when someone does not find you attractive, and then anything that's the opposite is probably your answer. Closed off body language, turning their backs at you, looking the other way, ghosting you, replying when they remember you, and running away when they see you approaching. Story 37. They'll try to initiate conversation with you and will make their presence be noticed in some way or the other, like talking overly, doing random stuff around you. Sometimes they might get overwhelmed and will try to avoid talking with you, not because they are not interested, but they find you way out of your league, at least in their mind. In both the cases, what I do is I try to initiate a conversation and will try at least doing it 5 times, because it could be that I'm just dreaming that they are interested. If they'll carry forward the conversation, then I have cracked it. Otherwise I've built my confidence and know that I tried at least. Story 38. They walk over to you, and in your native language or language of the country you are currently in tell you, I find you attractive, or something similar. Story 39. These types of questions are frequently popular on here, because Reddit is full on people on the spectrum who can't make heads or tails from social cues. Story 40. I was at a mate's house once and it was friends of friends, a whole group. I said I loved cheese, a certain type of cheese. Next group gathering, a certain cheese was part of the nibbles, and was told that a certain lady brought it. She is my girlfriend. They notice the little things. Story 41. Maybe not a dead giveaway, but a dying giveaway. Not instant obvious, but relatively quick evident is that she wants to let it rip on the first date. Story 42. Getting awkward when you talk. I was in the gym and asked one of the gym staff to return a missing item I had found. He acted shocked that is what I had to say and then proceeded to stare at me walking away. Story 43. When I first met the online friend who later became my partner, I had a hard time not looking at him for too long, not sitting too close and not making hugs too long. I also really wanted to brush his admittedly very tangled hair. I didn't want to creep him out, so I really tried not to do those things, but I probably did to some extent anyway. Story 44. A genuine smile with direct eye contact. It's such a simple gesture yet so powerful. That being said, as I've lived this life, nothing is a dead giveaway. There's strong indicators, but there's always a risk if you're willing to engage in the dance of attraction. Story 45. Being very interested in what you have to say despite only just meeting you. Granted, that can be other things, it's context dependent, but that's often a good sign. They'll take a bit more interest than the average person.